On July 28, a bridge collapsed in Yantai, Shandong province, causing a car to fall. The local government attributed the collapse to heavy rains, leading to jokes by netizens about the rain's responsibility. Videos online showed the bridge in Chaoshui town, Yantai, with its deck torn apart and scattered on the riverbed. A staff member from the Chaoshui town government told Red Star News that the Qinghe-Tun Bridge collapsed due to heavy rains on the evening of the 28th. A vehicle was on the bridge at the time, and the bridge deck broke, causing the car to fall. The staff member stated that after the car fell, it was blocked by the collapsed bridge pier and did not entirely fall into the water. The two people in the vehicle were not injured. Following the incident, warning signs were placed around the bridge, and rescue efforts are underway. However, officials claim that heavy rains caused the bridge collapse has led to skepticism from netizens. Public opinion generally believes that bridge collapses are directly related to construction quality, with comments such as, "Bridges collapse every 3 days. There are buildings and bridges built over thousands of years that haven't collapsed, only been demolished. Modern buildings are made of paper. Are there no bridges in China that can withstand heavy rain?" Bridge collapses have occurred in various parts of China. On the evening of July 19, heavy rain and flash floods in Jiashui County, Shanghai City, Shaanxi Province, partially collapsed the bridge in the Shuiyang section of the Danning Expressway. On the afternoon of July 20, officials reported finding 7 vehicles that had fallen into the river, resulting in 12 deaths and 18 vehicles, with 31 people missing. As of 7 p.m. on the 21st, officials stated that 15 victims had been found. Another bridge collapsed in Baoji City, Shaanxi Province, early on July 17. Local officials also claim that flood erosion caused one side of the bridge abutment to collapse, leading to the bridge deck overturning and collapsing. What causes the collapse of private constructions? China has a history of Tofu-dreg projects. These are buildings that collapse soon after being built, or projects that collapse despite never being used. The causes of these projects can be attributed to corruption within the government, as well as contributions from property developers and individuals. This raises the question of what causes private constructions to collapse. Let's delve into the following stories to investigate. Building number 14 in a real estate project named Country Garden Wangyue, constructed and developed by Country Garden Group, a large-scale enterprise ranking first in the real estate industry in Xi'an of Shaanxi, shows signs of subsidence until just 3 months after delivery. New Talk outlet reported on July 8 that the project developer was investigating the cause of the building's uneven settlement. However, they have entrusted a qualified third party to identify the cause. A social media user said he bought his apartment in October 2019. But when he received his home in March of 2022, he discovered that the whole building gradually started sinking and tilting to one side simultaneously. He had just moved in 3 months ago. He added that after learning about the issue, he immediately reported his findings to the developer and construction authority. However, they did not reply with instructions on how to solve the problems. Instead, they blamed each other. A user on the Tushio platform wrote, "Country Garden created an abnormally high turnover from top to bottom to receive huge bonuses without being penalized. The quality of the project must be sacrificed to meet the deadline. 3 days for a floor is a joke. Concrete achieves its strength in 28 days, and the cure ranges from 7 to 14 days. Everyone knows that. Don't encourage friends to buy a house in Country Garden, high turnover without respecting the quality of the project at all. To keep up with the project's progress and receive the performance bonus, the undrying concrete continued to be applied. Anyone who buys it will have a headache." It's not the first instance of a collapsed building. Building 7 collapsed at a construction site on Lianhua South Road, Minhang District, Shanghai, on June 27, 2009, causing the death of one worker. It was an unusual case because it had not yet been delivered. According to Sina, a middle-aged woman had seen the building collapse with her own eyes. She was so frightened that she had not yet recovered. The middle-aged woman pointed to her home and told reporters that she suddenly heard a loud bang when she went out to exercise. A 13th-floor high-rise building had collapsed, and it was suddenly gone. She was so frightened that her legs were shaking. How can a building collapse? The State Council Information Office of China announced in July 2009 that the area was close to the north side of Building 7, and the soil was too high for a short period. The highest point was about 33 feet. At the same time, the foundation pit of the underground garage adjacent to the south side of the building was excavated. The excavation depth is 15 feet. The pressure difference on both sides of the building caused the soil to displace horizontally. The excessive horizontal force exceeds the lateral resistance capacity of the pile foundations, causing the house to collapse. And 6 indirect reasons for the collapse of the building were: improper earthwork height. The excavation of foundation pits violated relevant regulations. Supervision was not in place. The management was not in place. Safety measures were not in place. The construction of the enclosure piles was not up to standard. However, the reporter saw at the scene that the building fell to the south, and the 13-story building was not completely shattered during the collapse. However, dozens of concrete pipe piles at the bottom of the building that were supposed to go deep into the ground were neatly broken. The reporter noticed that some of the concrete cross-sections seemed to have a small number of honeycomb-shaped voids on the piles that fell to the ground. The reporter also saw that, at the foundation pile's most critical stress point, the exposed steel reinforcement was only as thick as a thumb. As a result, foundation piles were scattered everywhere at the bottom of the collapsed building. These piles were cylindrical, some were solid, some were hollow, and there were small pores in the cross-section of some cylinders. Why were some pile foundations hollow cement pipes? In response to the question, Jiang Wanqing, an academician of the Chinese Academy of Engineering, said that open piles are an excellent pile type, save materials, and have vertical solid bearing capacity. At the same time, from a design perspective, buildings generally do not rely on pile foundations to resist horizontal thrust. Cement, sand, and concrete are building materials closely related to building construction safety. However, besides objective reasons, Chinese authorities have confirmed many cases of substandard materials, which can lead to a structure's collapse. The walls of the 2nd through 5th stories of a house in Huzhou Road and Baihua Road, Zhongyuan District, Zhengzhou, Hunan, were constructed using porous bricks. Unfortunately, a significant section was weak. As a result, the wall bricks have lost their strength, and severe safety hazards exist. A house resident touched the wall with his palm and shattered the bricks. And when they were kicked, they turned into slag. The Hunan Provincial Academy of Building Research Inspection in April 2014 confirmed that this construction had poor quality materials. People's Daily Online reported that, at that time, developers, construction units, and supervisors all pointed fingers at the brick factory. After discovering many poor quality constructions, some provinces and cities inspected cement, concrete, sand, and gravel enterprises. Substandard materials and corrupt local officials cause collapse. Guiyang's regulator, in October 2019, issued a report on the inspection of the city's ready-mixed concrete enterprises. According to the report, 29 concrete enterprises were randomly inspected. Among them, 16 companies were required to rectify construction within a time limit due to some problems, and 8 enterprises were ordered to suspend production. In Hainan, regulators made a surprise inspection of the quality of ready-mixed concrete, and 7 enterprises failed. Due to the tight supply in Chongqing, a large amount of inferior sand and gravel flooded the market and entered concrete production enterprises. As a result, it has severely impacted the quality of concrete production. On August 29, 2020, the Jiuxian Hotel in Qinzhuang Village, Taoxi Township, Xiangfan County, Linfen City, collapsed, resulting in 29 deaths, 28 injuries, and an economic loss of $1.7 million. The direct cause of the accident was the Jiuxian Hotel's poor structural integrity. The load-bearing brick columns and the roof on the 2nd story were badly overloaded, often a sign of a lack of professional design and unqualified construction. The Party Central Committee and the State Council of China determined that the local government and regulators didn't earnestly perform their duties of safety supervision. Accordingly, 41 relevant public officials were given party discipline, admonishment, criticism, and other similar measures. In April 2018, a widely disseminated internal document from the Tianjin Municipal Construction Committee showed that individual buildings in the Tianfang Yamaijiang project had quality problems. The reason was that the concrete strength did not meet the design requirements. As a result, more than a dozen buildings had to be dismantled, at a loss of about $103 million. The Zhongkang Greentown Lily Garden project, located in Zhangqiu District, Jinan City, had 4 high-rise residential buildings that were mostly sold. However, the dealer dismantled the buildings due to the substandard concrete strength. Some real estate industry veterans pointed out this is unheard of in Jinan's architectural history. And so on, poor quality buildings still collapse in China frequently.